AskReddit by Bloonst6 player. What was the worst pain you've ever experienced? An infected rotting tooth. It created pulses of agonizing pain from my neck to my temple. It was impossible to sleep because reclining usually made the pain worse. I measured time in half minutes. In my worry about not overdosing on acetaminophen, I overdosed on aspirin. That causes hearing loss. It's no joke. Tooth pain is the absolute worst. I broke a tooth last year and ended up needing a root canal. The pain I was in was excruciating. I've had both of my hips replaced in the last few months because of a disease, and that didn't compare to my tooth. The tooth was 10x worse. Ovarian cyst rupture 10/10 even after Lortab 800mg ibuprofen. Same. Went to the ED for an ultrasound and they gave me morphine. Took about 30 minutes before the tech to ask if I wanted another dose, and I reluctantly said yes. It finally helped to cut the pain down a bit, but not entirely. Now I'm dealing with stage IV endo and no over-the-counter medication helps. Even oxycodone only takes the edge off. I was hit by a car. I ended up in hospital with broken ribs and a collapsed lung. The first night I was in there they needed to insert a tube between my ribs to drain the chest cavity. They rolled me onto my side, numbed my skin and made an incision. Then they shoved a tube between my ribs. That was the worst pain I've ever felt. There was a young nurse in there. She came around to the other side of the bed and held both my hands while they were doing it. She was the angel I needed. I'm there with you, man. And how weird did it feel when they took it out? It felt like picking one of those brain clinger boogers, but way bigger and in your chest. I have had 4 children, and while that hurt, especially the first one, JFC, that took me into a whole new realm of mind-blowing pain. I'm going with kidney stones. They hurt just as bad as labor, but no sense of when it would end, no amount of painkillers would work, and no reward, Akare baby, at the end. I'd rather have another baby with no epidural, like my 4th, in a ditch on the side of the road than have another kidney stone, and I've had 3 of those. Death would be welcome. Last time I got one it was stuck for a week. That was the first time I ever really contemplated suicide because I was tired of how much pain I was in. I was hit head on by a pickup truck while on my bicycle. His windshield was broken by my face. Had a bad B, broken bones and my teeth knocked out. Ended up having several back surgeries and am okay today. I know it could have been much worse and am grateful. My best friend taking her own life on Christmas Day. I'm so sorry. An ovarian cyst rupture. I feel surprised and validated at how many ovarian cyst answers I'm seeing. Pancreatitis. At the ARN with it and I'm fucking struggling. That's the worst pain. I stayed at the hospital for a week trying to control acute pancreatitis. Now while waiting for gallbladder surgery I have to be really careful of what I eat. Best of luck, hope you feel better soon. Trigeminal neuralgia. Known as the suicide disease because so many people who have it commit suicide due to the pain. I get painful attacks in my head or brain. Feels like my head is a cantaloupe and someone is squeezing it. All I can do is walk around and scream until the attack ends. I've had 2 brain surgeries so far that have helped. I can get 3 more brain surgeries and fix the issue. However, the surgeries are extremely intense and I can't do it right now. Instead I take medicines and get shots in my head every 3 months. It's rough. What do you mean by intense? 1. Physical pain of labor contractions before epidural. 2. Being diagnosed with cancer with 2 boys under 4 years old. I am here 10 years later though. So proud are still here. 1. Losing my first baby. 2. Realizing after 8 almost 9 years my husband didn't give a shit about myself or his 3 kids. I'm sorry for your loss. I hope to God he's your ex. You and your kids deserve better. Sending hugs. I was raped when I was in the 8th and 9th grade by a teacher, and when I finally told my wife of 26 years, she said I was old enough to stop it and must have wanted it. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. Loneliness. Add to that loneliness while in a failing marriage. Physically, contractions. I usually have a pretty high pain tolerance, but that shit had me crying like a baby. Emotionally, having to watch my brother beg the code team to save his 4-month-old daughter's life. The contractions are a pain you just can't describe, lol. So bad. Gallbladder pain. I was undiagnosed while pregnant and was told my back pain was just pregnancy. I assumed my baby pushed something up wrong. When I had one after he was born, I had something between a panic attack and a nervous breakdown. My liver was injured at that point and I had pancreatitis, so it was a good thing I went. Stones have a distinct feeling in your body. Ovarian cysts pain. Shattered tailbone, with bone puncturing disc pushing sciatic nerve out of the channel. Waiting for third surgery. Take enough medicine to kill pain long enough to walk when I can. I feel you in ways only you would know. Watching my mother deteriorate from cancer. It made me glad she had finally passed. No more suffering. Similar feeling but with my dad. It sucked, but when he finally passed I was so relieved that he wasn't hurting anymore. Lost my son in a motorcycle accident. He was 19. He was killed instantly. He would be 31 on this coming Valentine's Day. It eats you alive daily, but especially this time of year I do feel he's with me a lot of times though. Had severe aches in just about every muscle in my body a year back. I could barely sit, couldn't open doors, gripping the doorknob hurt too much, and spent the days rotating between uncomfortable positions in bed. Still no idea what it was. OMG, I need someone to tell us what that was. Kidney stones and kidney failure. Before that was a bloody ejaculation. OWTF, what was the cause for the bloody ejaculation? All three sound horrible, I'm sorry. Getting divorced and seeing her with the man she cheated on me with. I've had my cervix dilated to about 4 to 6 cms and it didn't compare to the pain endometriosis puts me through monthly. I've had to sit and bleed on the floor because I physically cannot move. I've passed out in the toilet from the pain and I've passed 2 uterine casts due to my medication. It feels like a devil baby is shredding its way out of my stomach every period. I have a tattoo on my collarbone and didn't make any type of face or noise while getting it done because I was cramping. Fuck endo. Edit. I even had a laparoscopy and while in pain from that was saying how it wasn't shit compared to my period. That's how I knew it was bad, lol. No one knows how bad this is unless they have it themselves. So hardly anyone takes me seriously. Childbirth. I honestly didn't find it that painful. I think for me the intense fear kinda cancelled out the pain. I had a precipitous labor and gave birth to my first child on the bathroom floor at home because it happened so fast. Her dad delivered her. The fear was so overwhelming. Just thinking, wow, I'm actually going to have to push out my child completely alone in my bathroom and I have absolutely no other option. I didn't even fully understand that I was in labor until I saw my daughter slide out onto the floor. It was horrendous. I guess there was too much adrenaline for me to feel any pain. Tie between getting kicked in the thigh by one of my horses and having my femur fractured. Kidney stones. And the day my DVT, deep vein thrombosis, finally let itself be known after 6 months of it growing. I think you should receive an award. Also, I don't think a kick is as bad as a femur fracture, but I've never experienced either.